miter saws. You guys gotta love them, right? I mean, everyone loves this thing. You cut boards straight, you cut your 45s, your angles, your trim, your projects, anything. This is a great versatile saw, and it's one that you're gonna find in a lot of people's garages, not only in their garages, but in professionals' trucks, you know, on the job site, at the home, wherever. I mean, this is gonna be one of your most popular saws out there. So let me show you guys two simple things to make sure that it is running good. Okay, first of all, we're going to change the blade. And second of all, we're going to then align the fence with the blade so everything's actually properly square. So when you think you're cutting that 90 degree or the 45 degrees, it's actually going to be 90 degrees or 45 degrees. All right, so let's get a little bit closer here and take a look at what we got going on. All right, like I said, we're going to start with changing the blade. Okay, this is probably why most of you guys are here. The other one's going to be very simple, a little extra on the end. Okay, now the only tools that you should need, in addition to what comes with the saw, is probably a Phillips screwdriver, okay? Now this is, as you guys can see, it's a Hitachi saw. And then these ones here, this is a pretty basic 10-inch saw. Has a little tool right here, just right here, tucked in on the top. Okay, also on the top is going to be a blade lock, which is very important, okay? So first of all, we're going to do something about this, okay? There is a little guard here which blocks access there for retaining nut. So there's a retaining nut for the blade. And I find, at least on this saw, I don't know about other brands, if you take the screw out where it's almost falling out, it'll hold the guard in place on its own, okay? Now you gotta push. Alright, so this one's right here. Other brands might be up here. There should be a blade lock, whether it's a little bar or a pin, something there. See, now the blade is locked. And you see the nut has an L on it. Stands for left-hand thread, okay? Which means it's going to be not righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. It's going to be just the opposite. So to undo this, we're actually going to do to the right, or clockwise. Okay? And there we go. Now, of course, obviously, if you've lost this little tool here for the blade, this is just a little socket, okay? You can obviously just get a ratchet and do the same thing. Okay? So what we're going to have here is we just have a little bolt with a washer. And here's the main blade washer, okay? It comes off. Alright, now if this falls off, you can see there's the big flat, you know, smoothed off the edge, and then the smaller side, the big flat side goes against the blade, okay? And then here comes the blade, alright? Now this is a metal fabric abrasive blade, or fabric abrasive metal cutting blade, however you want to say it, alright? Doesn't matter which way it goes, alright? But it's great. I was just using that to cut some aluminum tracks for a shower door. Cuts them really nice. So what we're going to put back, I got a general purpose blade here. We're going to put it back. Now like I said in my skill saw, how to change the blade on a skill saw, which you'll see in the top right of the corner, you can see a link to that if you want to go there later, is that companies will print the main picture. There was like a little warning thing right here. Your main picture of the blade is actually going outside, so that's pretty much the way it's going to go. But you can also tell, as you see here, there's going to be an arrow somewhere on the outside showing the direction of the blade. Okay, and sometimes the blade has an arrow to match, but you know that the teeth are pointed that way, and the arrow is pointed that way. So I mean, everything is pointed in the right direction. Really, they try to make this easy so you don't put it on backwards. Okay. Now remember, that was the big blade washer, and now the Bolton washer. And now, to tighten it up, we're actually going to the left. I'm going to push the blade lock back in. Okay. It's a pretty simple procedure. We're almost done. Okay, snug it up. But don't go crazy. We don't have to go right now on this thing going, ah! Okay, because you do have to take this off again later sometime when you're changing the blade. Just make it, you know, nice and regular tight. The reason why the bolt is left-handed thread is so that when the blade turns, it actually helps to keep the bolt tight and it doesn't try to loosen it up, okay? Put this little support bar, or it's not really a support bar, actually I don't know what you would call that. It just covers it up. Okay, just the cover plate, cover plate. And then we're done with that. Okay, now let's find out if the blade is square or not. And just in case you guys want to know, this cool little painter's bench is from Warner. I've done another video on it. You'll see in the top right of your corner my review video on the bench, along with, in the description down below, will be my links to Amazon, where you can purchase some good quality miter saws, and this cool Warner bench, which I use not only to stand from miter saw and my table saw, I use it to obviously stand and paint on. I use it for so many different things. Okay, this is a speed square. You guys probably all know from this, any kind of square you can stick here. You want to first put it to the blade like that, okay? And we want to know, obviously make sure it's not on the washer. And we want to know if it's squared this way and it lines up. Okay, that's awesome, it does. If it doesn't, what you'd be having to do is, depending on your saw where it's positioned, I've got a little set screw back here, which you adjust so that you get a true 90 degrees. Of course, you do want to make sure that you are locked in the 90-degree position, okay? Because these saws, oops, if I do it the right way, you know, obviously, okay, I just want to stick a little bit, okay? They do, you know, they do change on that axis as well. So you want to make sure that it is, of course, locked into the 90-degree position before you go readjusting it, okay? So we know that that's square, so there's adjustment for that, and then we want to know the fence. All right, this is the fence here for a miter saw, here and here. And we want to know, does it line up and is it square? So we're at 90, is this all tight? And I am good here, okay, and I'm good on that side. Obviously I've already adjusted it, okay? This one here, simply, there's 2 bolts right here and 2 bolts right here. Let me spin it around. And like I said, other saws are going to be slightly different, but in the same principle. You can see the 2 bolts right there. You're going to loosen them up. Don't have to take them out. Just get your ratchet in there, loosen them up, and then just square everything up with your square, then tighten them back down, okay? After you do one of these, you do want to have not only, obviously make sure it's square to the blade, but then get a slightly larger straight edge, something larger than this, so that the fence is in straight line with itself, okay? Point in being, alright, so this is a larger straight edge, is actually, you know, a square, but you want to make sure that this fence is going to be totally flush and in line with itself, okay? Which it is. Okay, so now we know that this miter saw is going to cut a true 90-degree angle or true 45-degree angle, etc., etc. That's very important when you're going to cut trim, that your saw is actually aligned. That's a standard maintenance thing to do with a miter saw. Well, thanks for joining me today, and I hope I helped you out learn how to not only change the blade for your miter saw, but adjust it so that the fence is square to the blade. 2 very important things to know how to do with your miter saw. Alright, now over here we'll have, please subscribe to my channel, click on that pretty face. Down below will be a link to my website. Over here will be some additional videos for you to watch. And don't forget, in the description down below will also be a link to my website and Amazon links for all the stuff you see here today. Thanks again.